Alright, YouTube. So, what we're doing today is we are changing the oil on a 2020 Telluride. With the 2020 Telluride, they come with untraditional, I guess it's pretty common nowadays, but a different style filter. So, we've got an actual cloth filter and 3 keys to a successful oil change, looks like a O-ring, and a smash washer, and everything is there. So we're gonna put this back in there when we need it here in a bit. But one of the things that is going to be really handy for you, if you're planning on tackling this yourself, something about the Telluride you need to know is you require 6 quarts of oil instead of 5. So if you own a Telluride, or if you are working on a Telluride, make sure that you don't just get 5. Make sure you get an additional quart. It actually calls for 6.5, but I believe that 0.5 is going to come from what's remaining in the oil pan, because I am sitting on a slope, so I'm not going to be able to get it all, but this is going to be enough. And while we're refilling, we are going to continuously check just to make sure we're not getting overfull, because we don't want to overfill these engines. They cannot handle it. This is the power plant that you see inside of a Telluride. One of the first things you want to do is take that off. Just kind of set it off to the side and pull your engine oil dipstick and get it out of the way. And obviously when we're done, we'll clean everything up and wipe everything down. This one's got 50,000 miles, I believe. Some of the things that you're going to need to go ahead and block your tires in both directions, depending on where you live. If you live on a hill, if you can, pull your emergency brake. I know these are electronic, so one of the first things you want to do once you do that is you want to look under the vehicle and find a jacking point that you can access with a floor jack, because the jack that comes with them has a tendency to roll. I've actually had 2 vehicles fall on me while I was working on them with a scissor jack. I am not a fan, and I will not use them. Now this one, I might have enough clearance without jacking it up. There's a pretty decent amount. My vehicle, I do not have enough clearance under that little Mitsubishi, so I will need to jack and jack stands on that. I'm actually going to do it right where it sits, and we'll go from there. So give me a minute, I will be right back. Alright guys, I'm not sure if y'all can see this or not, but do you see this this piece right here? In order to access the oil pan bolts, you need to remove that. So we're tightening that. We don't want to tighten it. No, I do not have a cameraman to help hold the camera, nor do I have a tripod or anything of that nature. I am not a professional cameraman nor a videographer, so I do not have any of the essential equipment of doing stuff of that nature. So this is what y'all get. Just the guy who does this to help people. And I believe there's 2 on that end. Well, these are long bolts. I'm not gonna lie. These are like 2-inch long bolts. I'm gonna get this this access opened up, and I'll be back here in just a few minutes, guys. Oh yeah, gloves are essential to keep your hands clean. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we're doing an oil change on a 2021 Kia Telluride. So as you can see right here, and it's kind of hard to see, I can't help with that, but that is the oil filter. And if you look right there, that is a drain plug on a 2020 Kia Telluride. That's the oil pan, and you can tell that this vehicle is driven quite a bit. There's a good amount of dirt and debris up under it. The person I'm doing this for happens to be my significant other, and I don't have it jacked up right now because I don't really think that I need it jacked up to do this. Because now I believe that is a 27mm socket. I do not have a 27mm socket, so what I'm going to use is a pair of channel locks, and that will suffice if you don't have it and you don't have the means to get somewhere to get one, or you just don't want to go buy a socket for a one-time oil change. But something I will say that you're gonna need to do is, when you go buy oil, this is the oil you're gonna want to buy. It recommends 5W30 in the winter time. We live in North Carolina. It's a little cold here in the winter, but you definitely want to get a full synthetic. And in the summertime, if you read the manufacturer recommendations, they recommend a 10W30 in the summer months because it's a little bit thicker. And the hotter it is, the thinner your oil is. It's a little bit thicker. This will help the engine stay running better. So this is how you want to go with it. So we're going to go ahead and get the pan, which I've got this pan to catch all the oil. And once we get that caught, we're going to make sure that's screwed in, because if you don't, that can be a really, really bad day for you. So oil drain plug storage right there on the side. Okay, so drain filter here. That is if you're working with a traditional filter. We are not. This is what we're working with. And by the way, guys, gloves is going to be your best friend during this, mainly because you don't want this kind of crap on your hands. It can actually be bad for your health. But this is the filter that is designed for the newer cars. I'm not sure why they decided to go with that instead of a traditional can style oil filter, but I'm not the auto manufacturer. I'm just the guy fixing the cars. So again, I'm David with Down on Your Luck Auto Repair. If you are getting underneath a vehicle, one of the things you want to make dang sure of is that you have your wheels chalked on both sides. This vehicle sits up a little bit higher than my personal vehicle does. That one sits mighty low. You know, she's quite fun to drive, to be honest with you. I got a little bit more pep in it than most people do. But all right, guys, give me a few minutes. I'm gonna get the pan under it. We're gonna figure out the bolt size, and I'll bring you back when I drain the oil. So one of the things you want to be really, really careful of is that your pan doesn't overflow. And this one just about did. So now we just sit here and wait for this to get done. Once it gets done, we'll put the plug back in. We'll pull the oil filter out. Go ahead and replace that. Give me just a second, guys. Want to make sure that this oil is draining into the pan and not onto the ground. That's the last thing we want. We don't want it going into the ground. So one of the things that is important here is that is a 17mm socket. You're going to want to use that and make sure you got enough torque. All right, we're going to go grab some rags really quick. Which, in my defense, the only thing I got is for my is for detailing my vehicles. But it's going to work. Oops, sorry, barking spiders. You know how them things are. All right, we're gonna let that trickle out for a moment. I don't believe there was 6 quarts in there. That drained out awfully fast for 6 quarts of oil. I think she might have been a little low. So Let's see, is anything metal nearby? So I got this pretty awesome little feature that I can do here. Oop. Y'all don't want to see my ugly mug. Trying to find somewhere I can mount my my camera, because I have a magnet on it, so that way you guys can see what I'm about to do. Oh, let's see here. We may have to let's see, flip the view. Obviously I just got oil on my hands, but sometimes it's part of it. We're gonna go ahead and reseat this bolt. I know y'all can't see that, but we're gonna turn it in by hand as much as possible. And once we get it to reseat, we're gonna just tighten it about a half a turn, just so it's tight but not over tight, so when the guys at the dealership change oil again in 3 months, because she drives a lot more than I do, then they're not fighting getting it off. I will say one thing I do not recommend, y'all, is do not use Loctite on your oil pan bolts. And I say that with every bit of, so I got it mostly tight. Now we're gonna bring it back just a little bit. There we go. That's all you want to do. You want to get it there. It's kind of hard to access this and take it off with the pan in place, so we're going to loosen it, and then we're going to slide the pan into it. Alright, give me a few minutes, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so something you can do to access that, if you don't have the right socket, I highly recommend getting it, because that is a nightmare to get off if you do not have that socket. And I believe, I mean, you can tell I chewed the hell out of it. Let's see, I'm gonna try and get you some light here. Not sure if you can see that, but that is 35 Newton meters. That is for tightening it. You don't want to go over that. You can strip it out. I have a feeling that the dealership may have went over that when they put it back, because that thing was really, really difficult to get off. But as it is right now, everything is back on. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a towel and clean that up. I don't want any oil on the pan. We got a little bit on the ground. I'm gonna go ahead and get some kitty litter later today and some cleaner to clean that up. I have a relatively nice driveway, and I want to keep it that way. And I'm pretty sure so does my better half. You know, we live in a nice area, and we don't want people mad at us, so we're gonna do what we can to keep this area beautiful. But that is a safe place to, if you need to jack your vehicle up, that is one area that I frequently use, and I do that so that way, if I need, something quick, something safe and effective, my vehicle's not gonna roll. It's not gonna go anywhere because the tire is still on the ground. It's in a great area, and it's not gonna damage the suspension in any way, shape, or form. So when I take it out, I try to lower it as slowly as possible, and that just ensures that no damage occurs. Alright, and now we're going to break the seal on the oil. Obviously that's where that goes. The dipstick has its own, you guys know where that stuff goes. I'm going to go ahead and switch to camera view, and we're going to fill it up. Alright, here we go. First things first, clean your dipstick. Make sure you don't have any oil on it. Y'all can see right there, a little bit burnt. This car has a lot of miles on it for being new. We're going to go ahead and start with the individual quart first, and that is just to ensure that we get enough oil in this vehicle. And like I said, sorry, I got people driving by. I live next to the road. But we're gonna start with 1 quart, and then we'll grab the gallon jug here in just a moment, and we'll keep going. You know, this is typically takes about 10 minutes. I took a little bit longer today because I want to explain everything to you. That way, if you're getting ready to do this yourself at home, you have all the tips, tricks, and, you know, secrets that we can possibly give you. If you're doing it on a newer vehicle, if you're still under warranty, which this vehicle is, we just don't have time to go to the dealership because we both work a ton. This is a good thing to do. It does not void your warranty in any way. You can always check with your dealership if you're worried about that. They will confirm that. You know, this is not going to void your warranty doing your own oil changes. They're pretty fair and understand that not everybody has free oil changes for life or can afford, you know, paying a dealership $60 every time they want their oil changed. If you're like me, I got pretty lucky with my Mitsubishi when I bought it. I got $10 oil changes for as long as I owned the vehicle, but that was in Greenville, South Carolina. I no longer live there, so that's not really helping me here. I live in Asheville, well, close to Asheville. I'm not going to give my exact location, but I live nearby. We'll just go that route. About a 30-minute drive to downtown. So we're going to go ahead and put the majority of this in there, and look at that, there's a handy little spot in the funnel to rest your oil container. That way you don't have to try and hold it and not spill it. I do not recommend trying to freehand fill your vehicle, and the only reason I don't is because I usually spill the oil on the engine, and you got engine oil burning and all kinds of bad stuff going on. So we're gonna go ahead and check it now and see how we're looking. We'll let it sit there for a minute, let the oil get to the dipstick, and we'll check it multiple times. All right, as you guys can see, we are close. This line right here is where you want it. That's going to be full. That's about a quart low. So, and we have about a quart of oil left in our jug. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. There's not really a whole ton of room on these Tellurides. They kind of pack everything in here. Although this is a nice big engine bay, and I would enjoy putting an LS in this car. But I don't think the woman that owns it would be real happy with me. Although a twin turbo LS in here would fly. If there's anybody out there that does that is put a twin turbo LS in a Telluride, please send me a link to that video. I would love to see it. All right, we're just making sure we get all the oil in that we have in this jug. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this jug here in just a moment. This is going to be a recycle. So we're going to go ahead and check the oil one more time. Got a little bit right there. Make sure to clean up any oil that you spill on your vehicle. There you go, guys. She is sitting right where she should be. And we're going to put this back, and now we're all set, and the only thing I have left to do is to go ahead and update the system. But I'll do that here shortly. I got a couple things I got to do before I do that. Let's see here. Let's see if this will work. Hey, look at that. It works. So now what I'm doing is I'm reusing this as a catch-all for my oil. We're going to go ahead and put the cap back in the pan. We're going to leave the vent open. And at this point in the game, I recommend tilting the catch pan back and remove that cap if you can, and slowly pour in. And that stuff is black. Wow. Alright, so that is done. I'm going to show you guys just how overdue she was for an oil change. So, do y'all see all that? That is all buildup, all carbon inside the engine. You don't want that. That is that can lead to problems down the road for you. A lot of buildup that is not necessarily good for an engine, and yeah, that's something you don't want. So I do not want this getting into my vehicle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean my pan, you know, as best I can, and get all the old oil off. And it appears there's still a good bit in there. Well, there's a little tiny bit in there, not a ton, but oh god, well, I just slung it all over myself. Thankfully these are work pants and I don't have to pay for them. Well, I do, but you know, neither here nor there. And like I said, I'll be getting kitty litter here in a little while, and be soaking all this up. Alright guys, well that concludes a 2020 Telluride oil change, and I'll see you here on the next one.